Rafael Nadal is a 22-time Grand Slam champion. At 36, he's surprised us many times during his two-decade career, but one of the biggest shocks came in 2019 when the Spaniard tied the knot with his longtime girlfriend, Maria Francisca Perello. Now, the happy couple is expecting, but it has raised some doubts over his future. To clear these doubts, Carlos Moya addressed the media. Let's see what he had to say about Nadal's future. Firstly, Moya thinks Nadal won't quit tennis because of fatherhood. Calling Carlos Moya a super coach in tennis wouldn't be unrealistic or inaccurate. He's had close ties with Rafael Nadal ever since Nadal came onto the screen and handed him a defeat in their first meeting as a 16-year-old. A few years after his retirement, Moya went on to become Nadal's primary coach, and since then, he's been a crucial part of Nadal's late career resurgence and the jump to becoming the most successful Grand Slam champion in men's tennis. Nadal's passion for the game remains unrivaled, but fans feared that when he finally becomes a father, he might not want to proceed with tennis. It was a fair concern because Nadal had delayed his marriage by a long time and got married less than 3 years ago. It was a commonly held belief in the tennis world that Rafa wasn't getting married because he wanted to focus only on the sport, but he proved that this wasn't the case and went on to win many more majors after his marriage. Now, Moya has more or less confirmed that there's no chance that Nadal retires just because of parenthood, and added that it could actually spur him on and give him an extra reason to keep going. The coach explained how players during his day used to retire in their early 30s to start families because traveling with kids wasn't the norm. But that has certainly changed, and it wouldn't be a surprise to see Nadal playing a year or two down the line and being accompanied by his wife and newborn. This comes after Nadal announced the good news. It's no secret that Rafa likes to keep his private life extremely private. It's a little weird when you compare it to some of the other celebrities, especially in sports, but we respect his decision. But in a rare turn of events, the Spanish star revealed last month the good news about him becoming a father. Talking to a press conference on the 17th of June, Nadal confirmed that his wife was expecting and he was going to be a father soon. It was a very Rafa-type announcement from the man himself, as he went on to say that he doesn't know how the baby will change his life because I don't have experience with fatherhood. He's unironically funny, and that makes everything related to Nadal so much more fun. The 22-time Grand Slam winner did say that he doubts the new arrival would change anything in his career, but that didn't stop the fans from speculating. And can we blame them? As we discussed earlier, Nadal's quite secretive, and his decision to delay his wedding brought a lot of discourse. We know that the internet has a disease for breaking down every event in extra detail and speculating beyond belief. But it did seem as if Nadal was waiting for the final part of his career to take these personal steps in life. As a result, this recent interview from Moya has given fans a bit of relief, as they'll be hoping Nadal stays around for a long time. And a brief look at Nadal's successful 2022. We're into the 8th month of this year, and before the month finishes, we'll be hooked to our screens watching the US Open, which begins on the 29th of August. It may be the last slam of the year, but that doesn't mean tennis stops because there are multiple tournaments after the US Open too. But it does wrap up the 4 majors of the year, and this year Nadal has already managed to write his name on 2 of the 3 majors. It's an incredible achievement, especially after his defeat to Novak Djokovic in Roland Garros. People believed that Nadal didn't have it in him anymore after that defeat at the hands of the Serb superstar, but Rafa surprised everyone with an emphatic return to the ATP as he won the Australian Open, only for the 2nd time in his career. The Spaniard would go on to record his 14th Roland Garros title in a few months' time. All this while battling with serious injuries, as he recorded 2 more titles in 2022 with a win in Acapulco and in Melbourne before taking part in the Australian Open. Nadal had an abdominal tear as he battled through the quarterfinal and came back to win against Taylor Fritz, but his injury was a little too serious, and he took the correct decision of not featuring in the semifinal of Wimbledon. Now he's set to make a comeback in Cincinnati this month before taking on the challenge at the US Open. But the biggest news for Nadal probably remains the fact that he'll be becoming a father for the very first time. In other other news. First up, Nadal reaching new levels of ambidexterity. When Nadal first broke on the scene, there was a common rumor that he was forced to play with his left hand by his uncle Tony, because it would make him a tougher opponent. A lot of people believed this because Nadal was often seen riding with his right hand and simply being devastating with his left, causing all sorts of problems for the world number one at a time, Roger Federer. In fact, if not for Nadal being left-handed, many people believe that Federer would have gone on to dominate the tennis scene a lot more. In his book, though, Nadal has revealed that this rumor isn't entirely truthful. He pointed out that he was never forced by his uncle to play with his left hand, and it came naturally to him. The 22-year-old Grand Slam winner added that he started playing tennis when he was very young, but because of his lack of strength, he couldn't get the ball over the net with his right or left hand. That's why he'd hit a double-handed backhand and a double-handed forehand. His uncle asked him to change it up because that's not how anyone plays, and Nadal realized that his left hand is somehow stronger than his right and decided to push ahead with his iconic left forehand, which would go on to make him the most successful men's player in singles majors. Next, the Big Four to play together at the Laver Cup. The September of 2022 will bring about a historic moment in men's tennis history. 4 of the most successful players in recent men's tennis will join hands and represent Team Europe in the Laver Cup, and that's real-life Avengers right there. Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and Andy Murray will be playing for the Team Europe as they look to make it 5 wins out of 5 after winning the first 4 editions consecutively. The Laver Cup has already provided us with some epic moments as we got to see the bromance of Fedal connect in the doubles and record a huge win. Federer later joined hands with Djokovic as Team Europe triumphed over Team World, and if all that wasn't formidable enough, Bjorn Borg's team has decided to add the whole of the Big Four to take on John McEnroe and Team World. It's not officially a part of the ATP, but if you've ever seen the players in action in the Laver Cup, you'll know that it means so much more. There's banter, but the rivalry is obvious between the two sides, and it just doesn't feel like an exhibition no matter what. We can't wait to see more of that, but mark your diaries because the Laver Cup will be taking place from 23 to 25th September 2022. Ending with Jannik Sinner's fabulous comeback win in UMAG. The Big Four might still be making the headlines, but the new lot isn't too far off from making a name for themselves. 2 of the brightest talents in the next gen are Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. With both occupying places in the top 10, the 2 are blockbuster athletes and know how to put on a show with their exquisite talent, and this is a rivalry which we'll be seeing a lot of in years and decades to come. The 4th chapter of their rivalry, though, took place in UMAG, where the duo met in the final of the Croatia Open. Alcaraz produced a superb first set in which Sinner showed glimpses of his quality, but Alcaraz managed to win the big points and took the lead in the final. Sinner, though, used that first set as an opportunity to register a masterclass of his own and came up with 2 flawless sets to defeat Alcaraz in 3 and win the title in UMAG. With that win, the head-to-head between Sinner and Alcaraz is now level at 2-2, and we can't wait for the next match between the talented Europeans. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Nadal will keep playing even after the birth of his first child, or will he call it a day? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.